G'day and welcome back to the channel. This is the Yihua front and rear dash cam. So we'll open it up, have a look what comes inside the box, and we'll see how easy it is to set up and what it's like to use. So if we have a quick look at the box, it's sent in a nice box. You got a label on this side. So if we do a quick Google Lens scan, BYD Shark car dash cam front and rear. All right, so we'll crack it open and see what we got. Alright, and we'll get our first look at the camera itself after the bubble wrap. Alright, first bag here. Got an adhesion promoter there in the pack. Alright, so they've supplied some pry tools for your plastics inside the car, help you not scratch them as much. You get a little SD card in here, so that's a Lexar 64 gig V30. You've got your wires here with your fuse on there to tap into that. This will be your power cables here, so you can hardwire into the cable. And your fuses there, and your OBD plug, if you want to plug it in through the OBD. Comes with your screw there, and some heat shrink inside. This is the camera itself. It's got your adhesive on the back already. And then you've got your rear camera in this bag. Well, this is the rear camera, and then this is the plug for the rear camera. So they got plenty of cable there to run to the back for you. All right, and then this one in here will be the front camera itself, which is built into a plastic. So you've got a little chip here that comes with that. Not sure what that's for yet, but we will find out. So here's your look at your front dash cam. You got the camera there with the plastic on the front. On the inside, looks like you've got a little battery. And your wiring as well. So, got your power cable there, and that one that goes to the rear camera. So it's pretty cool that it sort of looks factory and, you know, stock like the original one. You're just pulling your plastic off and putting this one up in there. A bit of a sticker on there. You've also got your buttons here. So you've got a power button there, and then you've got a capture button underneath it. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, so that's what comes in the box. So we'll go and see how easy it is to install. All right, we're going to start the install of the camera now. So this is just the way that I'm going to do it. It's not a step-by-step instruction on how you should do it. So we're going to start from down here. So I'm going to take this rubber strip off first. It's just going to allow easier access for you to get out the plastic trim. I'm going to drop it all along up here as well, down halfway down the door. So we'll start over here, and you can use your plastic trim tools like this. So you get the blue one inside the pack, but if you've got some other ones that you've already got, you can start by prying these panels off here first. So I'm just going to use one of these tools to start getting in here. Start to pry the plastic off like that, and this piece will just unclip from there. So you got five clips. So one's come off, so you can just push that out and pop it back in there easily enough. So there's your first panel off, and then next one down will be, we'll take this one off next. So if you start from sort of the top piece, get along, and then over to the other side, you can get your trim tool in here, pry that down, start from the top and sort of work your way to the bottom. Just watch your connector in here. So you've got this one, so just unplug that from there. Now that should be as low as you need. You don't need to take it all the way off, but that'll be as much access as we'll probably need for that. So next one, we'll take off this side piece here. So again, it's just got those plastic clips in the back. Alright, next one we'll do up the handrail here and this trim here. So we'll start by removing here first. So you've got two little panels here. So if you've got a pry tool thin enough, you can get in here, pop that from the bottom and upwards, and that'll pop out like that. Just enough room to get your tool in there. That's the second one. And then you've got two 8mm bolts in behind there. So you can use a Phillips head if you want, or you can use an 8mm socket. Next you want to pry this piece of plastic up here, but there will be a cable attached to your driver monitoring sensor there. So just at the back of that, you'll see that connector there. So just pop that off, or actually you might be able to just lay that bit of plastic down. You might not need to take it off at all. That's all we sort of need for access to get in behind there, because we're going to run the cable up through here and then bring it up out of here and then run it up into the back of the roof lining here. Alright, so we're going to take this plastic surround off up here now. So you want to pop this little door off here. So again, if you've got a little hooky tool, you can get in there, pull that bit of plastic down like that. So that's just got a couple of clips on the back, nothing special. And then pop it in here, help pop that plastic out. So that's popped down from there. So you got one at the top, one at the bottom, and then just work your way around the other side. And you can just pull it off by hand, like that. So on the back of there, you got two clips on either side, and they just go, they click into here. So that's where the new ones will click into as well. And same on the other side. So what I'm going to do is tuck my wires in up through the roof lining here and have them hanging out. And then once they're all plugged in, running down the side, I can then tuck these plugs in the roof lining up later on. So just get this part started for now. And then when you want to move the cables over, and you'll have a little groove cut out in the plastic up here. So that's where all your cables will sit. So if you get them and then get this up in place, you should be able to just click it in. So get all four clips in, and then your plastic trim piece for up here should hopefully just click back into position. Just like that. There's your buttons there, your power and your record button, and then in the side you've got your SD card slot there. So these plugs here, we'll leave them hanging out for now, like I said, and then tuck them tuck them up in the roof lining once they're all plugged in, ready to go. All right, so I'll run our 2 cables up to the window now. So this one's for the rear camera, as you can not see there. There you go. So that's for the rear camera, and this is for the power to the camera. So we'll tie these both together, and then we'll run them up this gap here, and then come out just under there, back there. Yep. I'm just going to tie these 2 together to run them up. Bit of tape on there. Alright, then we're going to come over here. So we're going to pop it in this hole here. And we're going to feed them up. And you'll see that's them popping up there. So grab them in through there and pull up. Give yourself a bit of slack there. So now that we've got it through, we'll take that bit of tape off that we put on. And we'll come up here to where we had them plugged in before hanging down, or we had them hanging down before. So red to red, find the little groove that it goes in, push that in all the way, and then the one for the rear camera as well, find the little groove that lines up with it, push that in all the way. Alright, so now that they're plugged in, you can tuck them in behind the roof lining. There's one. And there's 2 tucked in there. And then just work your way along and tuck those cables in. And just work your way going down the column now as well. Alright, so what I'm going to do running down this column here is I'm going to cable tie the new cables with the existing harness that's already there, just to make it a bit neater and make sure it stays out of the way of everything it needs to. And there you go, that's nice and tidy now, running down. Alright, so they give you 2 options in the kit. So we've got the OBD option, which is what we're going to install, but you also have the normal fuse tap as well that you can do by hooking them up into your relay fuse box. But today we're going to be doing the OBD method. Alright, next I'm going to install the rear camera on the rear glass. So you want to get that area nice and clean, and you can put it, I guess, wherever you want, anywhere along the rear glass, but I'm going to put it on this left side, the driver's side here, just before the hump dips down. So just in here, in between those 2 lines there. So make sure where your camera's going to look out from, it's nice and clean in that area. And take the plastic off your camera lens, get the best quality possible. Peel the back off the 3M adhesion. Alright, make sure your alignment is a perfecto. So for me, in between those 2 lines, and just put some pressure on that for a while. Give it 30 seconds to a minute. And once you have the app set up, this can actually adjust up and down, so you can move that to make sure it's straight or it faces where you want it to face. And then just like the front, you want to run that cable up in behind here. On this panel on the side here, you want to pop this airbag clip off here. So just get your plastic pry tool, pop that clip off. Then you've got a 10mm screw in behind there. Get that undone. make sure you don't drop that nut down inside there, because it'll be a lot harder to grab it. Take off your rubber from the door up here in the corner. And this plastic up here will have some clips on the back of it. So you can just pop that outwards, just enough to get your cable in behind there. But we'll go and run the rear camera cable from the front first and run it to the back, and then that'll be stored in behind there nicely. So like I was just saying, in behind here, you've got a couple of clips there, like that one, that'll just clip in. And there's where that bolt and nut went. Alright, so we've just run that cable from the front channel through the back, through that cavity I just showed you. So we'll run that up and over now and plug it into here. Alright, so now that that's plugged into the back, you can tuck that in behind there, and then it's going to run on the inside of the roof lining along here. So you can pop that plastic back in there after you run this up the roof lining. Make sure you get your bolt hole lined up, and then that plastic clip will clip in. Great care, you can get your nut back into place. Then now we're just running this up the roof lining all the way through there. Pull through the slack from the front, nice and hidden, and you can even pop this rubber strip back into place now. Like it was never touched. So that's the rear camera mounted up now, cable run all the way through over to the front now, and then we'll go and keep running that along the roof lining up there as well, down now. So after you got the rear camera cable ran down there, you can just cable tie it up and chuck the excess in that little cavity in there. So off your power wire, you'll get the earth lead here, so your ground / earth. On the OBD side, you'll have one as well. So what they want us to do is hook these two together. So they give you this bolt with a nut on it here, but before you do that, they give you the heat shrink. So you want to get that on there first. Then you want to get these and hook them both together. Tighten them up. Make sure the cables are heading straight out. Don't have them, bent like that. Have them sort of straight with each other. And give that a tighten up. Keep them straight, then tighten it up. Then you can slip your heat shrink over. Try and get it as close as you can to the middle. And then grab your lighter or heat gun, heat pen, whatever you have that can heat this up. You don't really want to do it inside of the car, making sure it fits nice and snug on that nut and bolt. And then that'll be impossible to slip off there. So that's good in there now, so that won't be grounding out, touching things. So after you've heat shrunk that ground wire on, you've got your yellow and reds here, which match up with your yellow and reds on here. So if you get this, piggyback red to red, yellow to yellow, get that fuse in there, and that's your harness, your power harness done there now. So you can bunch that up and cable tie it together, and then you've got your plug here that'll plug down on the OBD port. Right, so after you've cable tied that harness together, you can pop it in there. So similar passage to where you did the rear camera one there. Pop that in there, and the OBD port itself, run that down the back. So get that OBD cable running down the side there and have it dangling down there. Then we can put all this plastic trim back together now. So clip that panel all back in, make sure it's nice and tight, and then onto the side here we'll put this back panel on first. So that's that panel on there now. I found it's better starting from the bottom and clipping in, working your way up, those 4. So get your pillar piece in now. So just remember you got 2 clips, one up here and one down there. So get them clipped in and tuck this piece in behind that piece that we just put on. Get your 2 8mm bolts back in there and then chuck your covers on. Now that last piece to go back on there. So make sure your clips are in place on the back of it. Line it up. Start clipping it back in place. Once clipped in, you're good to go. So once that's all clipped back in there nicely all the way down, you can plug your, push your rubber strip back on all the way along. So the OBD port is under here. So it'll only go in one way. Try and do this one-handed. So that's all plugged in under there now. And you can run your excess up inside there, and that is complete. So the SD card I'm using is the SanDisk Max Endurance card. They have a high endurance one as well, but this is the one up from that. So these are made for security cameras and dash cams. So this one's up to 60,000 hours of continuous video recording and supports the 4K UHD. Alright, thanks for watching the video. That's the Yihua dash cam all installed. And we'll do another video on a review of this. Alright, we'll see you then. Cheers.